need help on, like, to fix a few things on your side?
Yeah, so let me do this. Let me just show you what I'm trying to do, and then if there's something that we can talk about.
Cool.
Okay, well, at least we wait for Derek to show his screen. Oh, okay, it's coming up. Awesome.
So this is, I'm trying to come up with something like this, some freelancer app, but then, so these are some of the functions that I want to do.
Really awesome.
Yeah, so, but then when I started, I think so far I've encountered one error. Initially, I had put this as job listings actor. I did it like this, so
you want to have multiple actors?
Yeah, I wanted to make this as a shared one. So, but then I don't know why it was out. And
can you? Why do you wanted to make it a shared one? Like, you want other canisters to be able to call it? Is that
yes,
your
yes,
point?
yes.
Okay.
In short, what I want is from the front end, I should be able to listen to the canisters that are in the back end part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So if it's just a single canister and you just want other canisters to be able to call it, you don't really have to make it a shared class. Or if it's just a canister, any canister will be able to call it, as long as you have public shared functions. So the shared part is important on the actual functions, not the actor itself. So yeah, you can remove that shared on line 50. It's important, yeah. So the shared is important on.
Oh, so that's the reason why.
Yeah,
I now get.
If you want it to be like a class, whatever, you have to use the keyword like an actor class. If you want something like it to be dynamically created or whatever, but that's not your use case here. So the shared is important only on the functions. So let's say add job listing, it will be public shared function, public shared. So that's just what you need to do here.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and scroll up a bit. I just want to see something on how you are storing the data for this. Okay, so you have jobs. So a few things. Scroll down. Scroll down again. Right here. A try is cool, but labeling it as let, I think you started to see other errors as you go forward. It have to be like a variable. And yeah, a try is cool, but I think it can stress you unnecessarily trying to manipulate it. You can work with it totally, but try to use an actual try map or a hash map, but not saying you can't use the try. It's just add more like unnecessary complexity to something that should be like easy and straight and kind of straightforward. Yeah. So try to look on that example. I created like the user's example template. And yeah, save the jobs, freelancers, bees, everything like that in like try maps. It will be very easy to manipulate that data. But unless you really had a specific need for this try, you can go ahead. But
okay, I'll look at the example and then try and see
yes,
if we can.
using a try map will make life a bit easier for you. Yeah,
Okay.
your project looks good. And yeah, did you create like a repository for this on GitHub?
I've not yet published it though.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to.
This
I think
would be a good implementation for like the unique canisters you have to submit like before the hackathon, right?
Oh yeah.
That one we were talking about.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. How good are you with the Git? Do you have a Git account and some projects there? Are you comfortable with the GitHub?
Yes, I'm comfortable with GitHub, but I think of late I've been reluctant with publishing my projects there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think I have a GitHub account.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so maybe just this one you can create a GitHub repository, make it public, and yeah, and then submit it for the unique project. Okay, thanks.
Are you able to see my GitHub screen?
No, we're only seeing VS Code.
Oh, okay. Let me do this. Is it visible now?
Yep, visible.
So
Okay.
I just published the homework one there, and then
Awesome.
and then this. I don't know. I wanted to find out the homework. Should we make them private or public?
I don't know, but public would be good. Yeah, just so some other people can see what you are doing on these homeworks. Yeah, you can make them public, maybe put them maybe in a single repository or something. But yeah, public would be better for this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not a problem. I hope to work on them tonight and complete.
Okay.
May I suggest something here, please?
Okay. Yes.
For your GitHub, I probably suggest you don't use something that is so blatant like homework, because it will be the same GitHub if you have clients going to view your work and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to be seeing homework and then thinking this guy is still at school learning. Which of course you are, but you want to be more discreet with your title so that it looks like a project as opposed to some kind of assignment.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely correct. Thank you, Mr. Yeah. So yeah, it may be like, I don't know, hackathon or bootcamp, something like that. And then inside the bootcamp, yeah, you'll figure. I think you get a sense where that way.
Yeah. I do.
Anyway.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Okay, cool.
Thanks so much for the suggestions, Parod.
And Subarod, how is it going? With everything here.
Actually, yes, I wanted to speak to Superroad about the time. I see you've been having challenges with the time. What is it called? With the time from the base library. Are you there, Super Road? I think you've muted your mic.
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what I was trying to say to you in the afternoon. I understand you wanted to use the time.now method, but
It wasn't working.
no, he was trying to apply it on due date. So I was just telling him, although you can use it, but it does not make sense for you to say you want somebody to set a due date, but then it's going to be set by the system automatically when it runs. So like he was trying to understand that when he's trying to input, the input on Candid UI was not accepting the date format. So yes, so the time in Motoko is converted into actually it said milliseconds to you. It's actually nanoseconds. So for you to then convert it into a human readable form, that means you have to do some computation, like converting into seconds. So you just have to see how do you convert nanoseconds into seconds, or how do you convert nanoseconds into minutes, into hours, and also formatting it into a date string. But when it is stored as an int in the form of nanoseconds. I don't know if you understand.
I get that. It's just, I mean, there are no, when I looked at the time library and looked
Yes.
at the docs, I mean, it was really brief. Because one of the projects I'm thinking about would have, you know, when you open the page, the time will be there. The actual clock time will be there.
Okay.
Showing you what the time and the date is for that day.
Okay.
Right. So it looks like there's nothing like that yet in Motoko. So I'm just wondering. Okay, yeah, sorry.
It's fine. So if you are, I think it's one thing just displaying the current time. It's manipulation that you can do at the front end. But when it comes to storing, let's say you want to what do you call it, timestamp a certain record. Let's say there's some data that has been stored and you want to timestamp it as to it was recorded at this time, or the user inputted this data at this time. You can still use then the method .now method, but not the way that you were trying to write it. I actually sent it to your Telegram if you can check how you can actually implement it, so that you can get the time or the correct time that the data was, or if the data was recorded. I'm just giving like a record of the data as an example, but you can use it in so many things. That is if you want to timestamp something. But if you want a user to input the time, in this case on homework 2, it's asking you for the due date. That means the user is supposed to input the due date of that homework. So that means you don't use the .now method. You have to accept the date from the user. So now let's say you're accepting it from the front end of interface that you have built, right? That means if they input it as a date, then you have to do some computations at your back end before you input it into time. You have to change it to nanoseconds from the date and time that it has been inputted. You understand?
I understand, but for some of us, maths is not a strong point, and some of this.
No, but it's something that you can just find on Google, or you can just go on ChatGPT and just find the formula of converting minutes and then hour and and minutes and seconds into nanoseconds. It's not something that is really complicated. I don't know if there's any other implementation from your experience,
I think I would like to really understand his use case, but like as you were just saying that if you want to timestamp something, they have just to be, you can use time.now and then it will like put the time, the current time, and then anything else, it will be like just some logic you have to do either in Motoko or through the front end, just manipulating the either the nanoseconds or the milliseconds. It's something like I've also done multiple times, stuff like auctions, well, and other stuff. So I think Superload, I just would like to like understand your use case here a bit, like
Okay.
what you wanted to achieve.
I was using the
okay.
I was using the homework 2 as an example,
Okay.
right? And if you remember homework 2, right, the object has got the title and the due date,
Right.
and the due date is got a type, which is time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I set that up and run the code, and then the form appeared where you fill in the boxes.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, the text was no problem. Fill in the text and all of that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't expect to be filling the Boolean, but it looks like you have to fill in the Boolean, so I put the false there as opposed to true.
Okay.
Then the time bit, I mean, I tried various versions of the date. It was not having it. So I'm saying to myself,
Okay.
I'm saying to myself, okay, there is no instructions as to what format the date will be, whether it's the year first or the day first or that kind of a thing, whether it's just 2 digits each or there's no format. So I tried whether I should spell the month, I don't know. So I tried a few formats and it wasn't having it. So that's when I said, okay, how about the thing just registering the time? I mean, without somebody typing it in. I mean, it's so that's where it all started.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, currently Motoko just work like that. Like its time is just an int in nanoseconds, and then it's like the equivalent of JavaScript in date.now, right? That's the equivalent there. Yeah, so it doesn't have the manipulation of other formats as yet, like trying to what you can easily do in JavaScript. It doesn't have that yet. It just supports the ints. So you can actually store even milliseconds, but as long as you know how to manipulate them in your front end. So yeah, if you are to, unless if you set your time as text, and then the user can put whichever format they want, like literal text for the time, and then, but of course it will be difficult to manipulate in Motoko, but it will be in JavaScript, you'll be able to manipulate the time. So yeah, that's the option you have there. If you want the time to be able to manipulate the time in Motoko, just have the time as int or time.time.
Okay, but don't forget that the due date is a date. It's not time though. So how do you calculate in milliseconds the due date?
You actually can.
God.
Yeah.
I think Butuku is telling us to robots.
Yeah. So any date in this world can be converted into milliseconds, if you understand. Like we can count down to 2026 or 2027 in milli or nanoseconds, actually, not milliseconds, in nanoseconds. You understand? We can count down to 2027, 2030. That is a future date. So it's about calculating and knowing, okay, how many years are left for us to get to 2030. So we are in 2024, it's 6 years. So we do the computation of changing 6 years into nanoseconds. That means we are changing 6 years multiplied by 365 days, multiplied by 24 hours, multiplied by 60 seconds, multiplied by 60, but I mean 60 minutes, multiplied by 60 seconds, multiplied by 1,000 milliseconds, and then finally nanoseconds. That figure that you get is what your due date is. I know it's crazy, right?
There's also like
it's mighty crazy. I mean, and what time on the due date are you calculating it to? And
Come again?
What time on the due date are you calculating it to? Are you calculating it up to 9 o'clock? Are you calculating it up to midnight? It's
so okay. So probably those are now like so yeah. Probably we can use midnight. Probably, to be fair, because then we are saying due date. If we say it's due tomorrow, that means you have until from 12 a.m. until the next until 11:50.
It's up to 11:59, right?
Yes, 11:59. Yes.
So it's the first milliseconds of the next day.
Yeah, you just calculate the equivalent milliseconds and just add to current to time dot now. If you want like due date is tomorrow, what time? So you calculate maybe the milliseconds equivalent and then add to time dot now.
Is there any API that works with Motoko at the minute? No.
An API?
Any API? No. Okay.
But I think when you get to understand, it's like it's really easy. Really, like there's a project I'm working on with like a lot of timers, actually, like an option, minutes, hours, etc. And so and it's all happening in Motoko. So it's just doing that thing of like adding, knowing what you want to add to the time, and then that's you have the milliseconds of that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can see my website here, the website that I'm looking at, but here,
yeah, I can
you
see
your computer's time is equals to these milliseconds. So now you have to just convert this in milliseconds into nanoseconds. It's a computation also. So this is just a computation.
Okay.
That just changed this date into this. And you can also do the reverse, changing these milliseconds and determining what date it is right now.
Okay.
Pamulos Sewa. Reference. Read from you. Anyone else with a problem? Okay, so yeah, homeworks. Not homeworks. What is it? Attendance form has been sent. Please fill it up. Cool.
I think we had also discussed in the morning, maybe we can just go over maybe the first homework so that others can just understand how to do it. I think there's somebody, Regan. Is Regan around? He was asking about deploying using Motoko or Motoko Playground. So I'm not sure. Should they use Motoko Playground, or they can use Gitpod? What do you think, Mr. Ina?
Well, they're still having a problem to set up,
Yeah.
right?
There was someone who was saying I'm having challenges with setting up in the morning.
Yeah, I think Gitpod or code spaces. I also guys having challenges with code spaces. It's kind of a little bit more straightforward compared to Gitpod, but not that Gitpod is difficult. Or maybe it's just my view. But anyone trying Gitpod and code spaces and having challenges as well?
Hello.
Why, Kelly?
Okay, so I just conceptual consensus about implementing together with
We can't really hear you. Like your mic is.
implementation for this thought. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying I tried the course based the problem was connecting with your thought. And so I was trying with the reports. But I wanted to ask about the timelines. Like, do I get to see my projects later? Like, if I want to do revision and stuff like that, will I be able to see my projects later?
Yeah, you should. Let's take it forward. You should be able. Myself, I haven't really used the Gitpod, but you just connect it with your GitHub account. I think we may need an entire second dedicated on Gitpod. Yeah, because it's literally just an environment, right? And you can have, or you can actually create clone your repositories in your GitHub repositories and everything, and it should just work.
Okay.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, and I also had a question with internet identity.
With what?
Internet identity.
Okay.
I did create a password for myself, and then later on when I tried to put it up, it was not responding.
Later on, you were.
When I wanted to use that the password that I put for internet identity, when I wanted to use it again, it was not responding.
You used a password.
I mean, like you have to put like numbers or something for yourself for internet identity, right?
You were failing to verify that that code.
For the first time, I did it throughout on the cab. But then when I wanted to do it again, it was not responding with the same identity that I got when I did it the first time.
Can you share your screen and like try to show the problem you are having? Were you trying on your computer?
Yes, I was trying on my computer, but I showed my screen in a minute.
Okay. The problem I have with Gitpod, I'm not sure if you can use it in VS Code, like locally. Yes, go ahead, Mr. William Mirand.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Kindly fill in the attendance form. I can only see 3 people here. I can only see 3 people. Please sign the attendance form.
Yeah, guys, fill in the attendance form. And from people who are in here, how many of you guys are going to be present for the physical hackathon in the live hackathon? Okay, not the institute. Pamulo, William. Okay, Gerald. Okay, that's awesome. And yeah, maybe some a number in the group as well. So yeah, those who are going to be participating, just another reminder, we were talking the GitHubs, try to have some personal, those unique canisters projects, and then that way we will know, like, you'll be able to actually build something in the hackathon. All right.
Okay, so yeah, and this is the problem that I was having, like to log in to the
Okay.
password. So I do try to leave a phone, like to scan the, what is it?
Okay.
That thing, like a barcode reader to press to scan it so that I can get through. But it was taking me too long to open it, didn't even open it.
Okay, so you couldn't like create
Yeah.
the passkey on your phone.
Yes. Right now, I just put the internet identity that I got last time, and then it took me to here.
Oh, so for the first time you created it successfully.
Yes, I managed to go through inside. And then when I wanted to use it again, like to go through the internet identity process again, I couldn't get it.
Okay, so for the second time, you don't have to create another one. What did you use to like
Let me show
create the
you.
passkey for the first time?
Let me show you.
Like, okay. Now refresh. Oh, it's loading.
Yeah. So instead of creating internet identity, I use the existing one because I have already created one.
You didn't create it in this browser.
I did. I used this browser to create the identity. So I wanted to use the existing one that I had already. So was there a need for me to create another one?
Because if you had created one on this browser,
Hmm.
it should be like if you successfully created the identity, you shouldn't be asking you this, like you should be seeing your identity here. And so what this might mean is maybe you didn't create in this, or if you created in this, maybe you didn't successfully create it.
Okay, so I have to start a
Yeah, so I think because if you only used this browser and it's not picking it from this browser, I think it wasn't created successfully. So try to create a new one. Yeah, I noticed that URL. Click. You are using one with the raw. Yeah, click that one. Let's see. If you had created, it should be here. He's taking his time. Hmm.
Is there something else that is better than chat GPT for problem solving?
Come again. Better than
Is there
what?
some chat GPT for problem solving?
Other than ChatGPT.
Yeah, that can take like making a screenshot of a picture so that I can display it on the website so that I can get information.
Oh, Bard can do Bard
What?
is
What?
free. What is it? Yeah, Bing, I mean,
What is that?
Bing, like the actual Bing browser, you can actually post, search with images what you want to search.
Oh, okay.
On Bing. I don't know, guys, is there another free alternative where you can post images and ask stuff?
Where you can do what?
Where you can, like, you know, on GitHub, on like paid GitHub, ChatGPT, you can upload images and ask some stuff, right? Is there another free alternative where you can put in images
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
ask?
Being
Yeah.
like Microsoft Copilot, it does that. You can upload an image and then ask a question. Even Gemini for Google, it does that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. And that one is free. It's
For
not
Gemini,
like the ChatGPT 4.0. Yes, for Gemini and the Copilot. Copilot for Microsoft and Gemini for Google Chrome.
okay, cool.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
so try Bing and Gemini.
Okay, this internet is not responding well. That website is not open, so you can access information.
Yeah, so we can try that.
Okay, thank you.
Try that next time. Okay, so anyone, like we had spoken about this yesterday, like anyone who wanted to know how to go about setting GitHub. Anyway, before I do this, Mr. Confident, you wanted to demonstrate something, right? Like to show something.
We wanted to go over the first homework, but I think we are only left with 15 minutes.
Yeah, it won't be.
But yeah, still it's good because it's good to have and catch up, make other people catch up and ask questions about the problems that they are facing. So it's all good. We have time. We can also do it in the morning if possible. Or maybe we can do it in the evening again tomorrow because I heard there is an issue with electricity. So most people are able to catch up in the evening, but also we'll be posting this on YouTube. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and on that on YouTube. Yeah, we've been posting, but I don't know if you go on YouTube, you can actually see some of the latest videos, but we'll post them in the group as well. We apologize for not doing that as promptly, but yeah, the past sessions on YouTube and we'll post them in the group. Just like this for iGel.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, is it possible to only code with Motoko without including other languages or using other frameworks or other stuff like React or TypeScript? Things like that. And then just code in pure Motoko only.
You mean like, is it possible to
Like
build
doing the whole process, everything without including other languages,
like using?
without using the front end languages or without using the other frameworks that will make it interactive, just using Motoko only. You remember the other day when you showed your screen, you were saying you're using what is this, TypeScript.
Okay.
So I'm like, if you don't use TypeScript, is it only possible to use Motoko only without including the other languages or the other frameworks?
Like, is it possible to do the front end without using TypeScript?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is. You can use JavaScript, but yeah, really, it just have to be, yeah, JavaScript. And you can use it as in React, as vanilla with HTML or Next.js. Yeah, you can, you're not confined to TypeScript. It was like, I don't know, my kind of my preference there, but you can, yeah. And I was just kind of busy. I promised, it was also a request from Mr. Rod that to see an implementation with the JavaScript. I promised by tomorrow I'll have an implementation that is in a React implementation in JavaScript and not TypeScript. I'll do that tomorrow. Go ahead, Pamulo.
Yes, can you also use Bootstrap for the front end?
Yep, you can use any styling framework library you want, Bootstrap, Material UI, whatever. The name is
All right.
in your front end framework. Myself, I like Tailwind. Always use Tailwind, but you can use whatever you want. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right. Okay. So about GitHubs. Yes, some of you may be new to GitHub, how to get a project on GitHub. Let me demonstrate that in the next 10 minutes so that you can see how to go about creating a repository, creating a code and putting the code in there and pushing it on GitHub. So let me try to do that real quick. Okay. Share screen. You guys can see the screen. So what you just need is to first have a GitHub account, right? And when you have your GitHub account, you just come here and create a new repository. You have your GitHub account, and then you come here on the repositories tab, and then you do a new repository. You can create from the command line and then push it, but it's a bit complicated. What I think is the easy and straightforward way: create the repository first, give it a name, demo repo, make it public or private. I usually edit the README by default, and so that it can have an initial commit, and it will be easier to just put another code in there. And then yeah, you create the repository, and then you have your new repository, and it's empty. It have the initial commit of just this this README, where you describe how to run your project and other information. And then to have it, to be able to start communicating it from the command line, what you do is click here and then copy this HTTPS link, right? And find where you want to put the code in the desktop, in the demos, right? And find where you want to put the code, and then open your terminal you are using, or VS Code, or whatever, and then you do git clone. Clone. You now have your repo locally. So if you don't have Git, you have to install Git on your computer, right? And then you can also log into Git on your computer with I'm sure on the GitHub documentation on downloading, there are some instructions where to show you how to log in with GitHub on your in your command line on your PC, on your computer, so that when you pull repositories and try to push them, it will know who you are, and then you configure your email. You do some configurations locally. We won't go through that here. We are just assuming you have it set up on your local computer. The setting up, you can just go to the Git installation guide, and if you are on Windows, you follow the instructions there. So I cloned the repo. I can cd into the demo repo. On my Linux, on my Ubuntu, I basically do the opening and everything through the command line. But if you're on Windows, you might want to open VS Code first, and then do this thing of opening folder and then finding where that directory you want to open. But in my case, once I'm inside the directory I want to open in VS Code, I can just do code video, and VS Code will open. So this is my brand new repository with nothing in it, right? So now to get my code in here, what I can do is create a new project inside. GFX new project. I want it a Motoko project. I want it to be a full stack with React. And then I create a project. So one important thing to note here is that when you create, if you like create a GFX project inside your repository, by default, a GFX project is its own repository. You see, like it has its own git ignore, and it also has its own .git directory. On Linux, yeah, you can't see the .git directory, but on Windows, you can see that directory. So if you can actually just cd into the project and delete that .git directory, so that this thing won't be a repository. Or what you can just do is migrate all these files that are in the newly created project, and you have them in your in your actual what happened here? And you have them in your actual repo. So we're just doing, so the main point is that we just want to avoid the case of having two nested repositories in our project. And that happens when you create a new project inside your repository, you clone, right? So another way will be creating your project somewhere else in a different directory, and then you just copy the files, just like we did, just like what we did here. So I can now delete this. Okay, yeah, before I delete, to show you what I'm yapping about, let me do git branch. Right. You can see I'm on the main branch, right? This is in the demo repo. Let me cd into the project. Then let me type git branch. You can also say here, it's now saying master. This is now information about the second repository that was created by default in the new project. So we just basically want to avoid that. We have another repository inside our repository. So move the files or delete the .git inside will be good. So what I normally do myself is just move the files outside and then delete this thing, the originally created one, and then I will have my files in my in my actual repository, and yeah, it will be good. I can delete the readme, the copy, because there was duplicate readmes, right? And then once you have your files, you come to your backend, you do your magic, and you do your magic in your front end, and then you are satisfied. You do git add to add all the changes. Oh, still inside that project which I deleted. It's not cool. 10 minutes. Okay. So now what had happened here was that I was still in the directory which I deleted. So that's why there was that mix up. So just before you delete it, just cd out of that directory. Then you do df git add. And then you can do git status and see what you have added. So we see all the files. This is all the stuff we have here. The node modules have been ignored, which is good, that's what we want. Yeah. And then once you see exactly what will be pushed to your repository, you can then do git commit, and then you write about what you did. So here what we did, and this is just some initial setup. You can call it like fit initial setup, message for your commit message, and yeah, the changes. And then once you committed, you can just do push. And if I come, see there's nothing 10 minutes ago, and if I refresh, we now have our new code in our repository. And then yeah, you start working on it, making some changes, committing them and pushing them, making changes. If you change your computer to another one, you can simply clone this repo and start working on it as well. So yeah, to those who didn't know, this is how basically you go about it. Create the repository, create the GitHub account, create the repository, clone it, add the files, your project files, to the repository. Add and then do git add commit them, and then push. Yeah, and you can always come to YouTube and find out to do this stuff. Like there's thousands of videos to help you do this stuff. It shouldn't be difficult at all if you want to really know how to do it. So yeah, our time is over. Let's catch up tomorrow, and yeah, confidence will go through homework one. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, let's catch up. Let's catch up tomorrow. Let's remind others to join the session and prepare for the hackathon. You wanted to say something, Super Rod?
I was just saying thanks.
Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.